Hello guys, Croft is here. Today I'll be talking about the mysterious planet 9 that can be lurking around in the outer regions of our solar system. In the current model, there are no objects beyond the Kuiper belt larger than Pluto. However, many scientists believe that a mysterious giant planet may orbit the Sun on the elongated elliptical trajectory. The leading experts in this area of research from UCLA estimate a 90% probability that Planet 9 exists but yet to be discovered. Over the last few years, there's been more evidence from NASA and other research teams that the outer region of the solar system may contain a giant planet which is about 5 to 10 times the mass of Earth. According to the data, a hypothetical giant planet has a large elliptical orbit such that the planet takes about 18,000 years to make a full circle around the Sun. In this video, I'll go over the evidence that supports the existence of the Planet 9 and how the hypothesis of this unobservable giant evolved over the last 20 years. One fascinating thing is that when scientists discovered the initial evidence for the Planet 9, they tried to disprove its existence. However, they ended up finding even more evidence in support of the Planet 9 hypothesis. Another interesting thing is that if Planet 9 actually exists, there are theories that ancient astronomers were able to observe it in the sky thousands of years ago when this planet was supposed to be much closer to the Sun than today. So first, let's briefly go through the history of how the evidence for this planet was discovered. Astronomers were looking for new planets in our solar system since the early 19th century. After the discovery of Neptune in 1846, scientists were speculating that there are more distant planets that affect orbits of Neptune and Uranus. Then, in 1906, Percival Lowell predicted the existence of a new large object based on his calculations, which sparked the extensive search for planets and objects in the outer solar system. As a result, observations and gathering of data eventually led to the discovery of Pluto and many other large celestial bodies beyond the Kuiper belt. The technology and observation methods progressed tremendously since 1850s, so in the last decades, scientists were able to analyze and model orbits of many extremely distant objects beyond Neptune that are called trans-Neptunian objects, or TNOs. TNOs are located between 40 and 800 times further away from Sun than Earth, which may be hard to visualize for some people. It all started in 2004 when astronomer Michael Brown discovered a dwarf planet Sedna with a strange elliptical orbit that could not have been explained by interactions with any of the known planets, which reignited the search for new objects and planets beyond the Kuiper belt. At that time, scientists speculated that Sedna encounters a massive unknown planet on its distant orbit. Then, in 2012, scientists discovered another TNO with a really unusual orbit, which gave even more credibility to the hypothesis of a distant super-Earth planet. In 2014, Chadwick Trujillo and Scott Shepard discovered 12 additional trans-Neptunian objects with really unusual orbits that did not fit in the model of our solar system at that time. What's really interesting is that they expected orbits of these objects to be totally random. However, in reality, all the orbits were skewed to one direction, which the researchers could only explain by the existence of another huge planet which they called Planet 9. After hearing this proposition, Konstantin Batygin and Michael Brown from Caltech decided to investigate orbits of 6 other objects beyond Neptune in order to disprove the Planet 9 hypothesis. However, after analyzing and modeling these orbits, they actually found more evidence that supports the existence of the Planet 9. Batygin and Brown ran a computer simulation with the mysterious giant as the part of the solar system and predicted orbits of trans-Neptunian objects based on that model were almost the same as the ones that they actually observed. In other words, orbits of these celestial bodies beyond the Kuiper belt are skewed and their axis of rotation is inclined at a certain angle. These anomalies in orbits can only be explained by a planet massive enough to be able to largely affect the motion of these distant objects. As you can see on the diagram, all the TNOs are shifted in one direction, and this arrangement is possible if there is a massive planet that has sort of an opposite orbit. But Teagan and Brown estimate the probability of the Planet 9 existence at about 90%. After they published their results, many accredited astronomers and scientists supported the Planet 9 hypothesis, suggesting that there is nothing else that would explain the anomaly in the orbits of trans-Neptunian objects. In overall, the Planet 9 hypothesis is the only explanation for all three of the following anomalies in the solar system: particular clustering of trans-Neptunian objects instead of being random, elongated elliptical orbits of dwarf planets like Sedna, and lastly, almost perpendicular inclination of orbits of TNOs and high inclination of extreme trans-Neptunian objects. Planet 9 is currently the only explanation for all three of these phenomena, unlike other theories that can only explain one or two of them. Several theories about the origin of the Planet 9 have been proposed. One possibility is that Planet 9 formed much closer to the Sun in the early period of the solar system. However, it was later ejected in the outer regions by Jupiter and Saturn, resulting in the unusual and elliptical orbit. Another theory suggests that if Planet 9 exists, it could have been captured from a planetary system of another star during a close encounter with the Sun a long time ago. Since our solar system is traveling through the Milky Way, it is possible that at some point in the past our solar system was passing by another star, and during that encounter it captured a planet that was on a distant orbit around that star. This planet, presumably Planet 9, eventually achieved a stable orbit around the Sun after being altered away from its native star. In overall, Planet 9 seems to be the most likely explanation for weird elliptical orbits of trans-Neptunian objects, and many scientists agree that it is a strong possibility. For example, Jim Green, director of NASA's Science Mission Directorate, said this when talking about Planet 9: "The evidence is stronger now than it's been before." On top of that, astronomer Alessandra Morbidelli concluded that "I don't see any alternative explanation to that offered by Teagan and Brown." However, scientists who consider the existence of Planet 9 a strong possibility also comment that until this planet is observed, this theory should not be considered as 100% true. Another important aspect is that observing large objects and even dwarf planets in the outer solar system is quite challenging, since they're extremely far away from the closest light source, which is the Sun. Some of the objects' furthest points on their orbits are about 900 AUs, which is 900 times further away from the Sun than Earth. For that reason, astronomers spend large amounts of time and resources to gather and process the data in order to detect celestial bodies beyond the Kuiper belt. Because of the extreme distance from the Sun, Planet 9 would reflect very little sunlight, which makes finding it a really hard task. On the apparent magnitude scale that measures brightness of celestial objects, Planet 9 is expected to have a score of 22, which is extremely low and approximately 600 times fainter than Pluto. According to Teagan and Brown's calculations, Planet 9 may be at the furthest part of its orbit at the moment, which would make observing it even harder. Computer simulations indicate that Planet 9 takes about 18,000 years to make a full circle around the Sun following an elliptical orbit, with the furthest point being 26 times the distance from the Sun to Neptune. Two teams of astronomers, Teagan and Brown, as well as Trujillo and Shepard, are taking part in the research of Planet 9, which is expected to take up to 5 years. Researchers are using different approaches in hopes of locating the elusive super-Earth giant. Brown estimates that if Planet 9 is confirmed to exist, it would take about 20 years for a probe to reach it. In essence, the astronomical data tells us that Planet 9 exists, but we cannot find it, which creates a weird feeling that there's a massive, unobservable super-Earth on the edge of our solar system. However, apart from Planet 9, there exists an alternative hypothesis that would explain orbits and inclination of trans-Neptunian objects. This other hypothesis is actually pretty scary, and most people would definitely not want it to be true. In 2019, Jakob Scholz and James Unwin proposed that Planet 9 is actually a primordial black hole, which would explain failures to locate this giant planet despite so much data pointing to its existence. This hypothetical primordial black hole would have enough mass to cause inclination and elongated elliptical orbits, and it would be small enough in size to not be detected. But Teagan and Brown acknowledged the possibility of Planet 9 being a black hole. However, they also commented that at this stage there is not enough evidence for this idea to be more plausible than other explanations. In addition, according to general relativity theory, all primordial black holes should have evaporated by now, and since none of this type of black holes were observed, they remain hypothetical objects. Another point is that if Planet 9 is actually a primordial black hole, the danger to Earth is not as big as it may seem. This black hole would be way too far from the Earth to be any major danger, since only objects close to its event horizon would be absorbed. On the contrary, if Planet 9 turns out to be a black hole, it would offer scientists a unique opportunity to study black holes and possibly make a breakthrough in the field of gravity, which can lead to a new type of space travel technology. In overall, the evidence for a primordial black hole in our solar system is very low, especially considering these hypothetical objects have never been identified. For that reason, Planet 9 remains the only explanation for the motion of celestial objects beyond the Kuiper belt, and it seems like it's only a matter of time until we finally discover this mysterious super-Earth giant. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more videos about mysteries of space and our universe. My name is Croft, and I'll see you in the next video.